Just last week, Dan Bongino used a bad graphic on his show, and we talked about it at the time. Take a look at this. This is a shot from his show where you can see the list of the top 10 most unhealthy US cities. And there he is working himself into a frenzy about how supposedly blue cities make people unhealthy. Now, that of course turned out to be the list of the top 10 most healthy cities. So, oops, slight problem there. So in response to that, I thought, okay, that's embarrassing and dishonest, but it's also an opportunity. And so I put out a challenge for Dan Bongino. Here's a little bit of that challenge. I am not interested in a correction that says, we goofed, sorry about that. I want you to have the courage to actually engage with the error that you made. Because you didn't just show that graphic, you chose that graphic to prove a point. And the point was that blue cities don't care about people's health outcome and they produce death traps for people. You thought that that was the point you were making. The evidence shows the exact opposite. Some of these blue places, and we could debate some of these examples, like I said, San Diego or whatever, actually turn out healthier people. I'm not interested in you just admitting that. I want you to think about it. Why? Why are people healthier there? Because this is an opportunity for learning, evolution of the sort you'll spend all this week, Dan Bongino, praising Joe Rogan on. What if you were to do a little bit of it? What if you were to integrate this into your ideology and maybe learn a bit? Adrian, I do not expect that will. Well, I put out the challenge there and I said that I didn't expect that he was going to have it in him to not only admit that they were wrong, but to then do something with that. You were wrong about something very big that you made core to your argument. You can't just move on from that, or can you? Because the retraction came and here it is.
On last Saturday night's episode of Unfiltered, a graphic was aired with inaccurate information on the unhealthiest cities in the country. I regret the error. We regret the error. Thanks.
Nope, just moving on. I was wrong that I made the exact opposite point, and that you will never hear anything about this from me again. And I will continue to say that blue cities are bad for people's health. It's just so cowardly, Francesca.
The producer who worked on this was forced to wear a COVID-19 and N95 mask actually for a full hour. So they've been sacked. And Bongina, that's his name, Bongina. It's very sad to me. I just, look, John, you have a robust team here. They all do a lot of work. Shout out to the production team on TDR. But can you imagine the money and the producers that Bongina has on his show, and still making that mistake? Not just a mistake, a straight up reversal. Hey, we're just gonna say the opposite of what this says, and that gets aired.
Yep. How do you do that?
It's deliberate, and
it would be like if we, for years now, have been talking about the ever increasing amount of student loan debt. We're like, it's 1.4 trillion, and it turns out, oh no, actually that's a surplus, and they pay out checks to every student every year. Could we just say, oops? No, you couldn't do that. But again, because the thing is, you might watch his segment and think, oh, he cares that all of these cities are unhealthy. That's why he is a No. It would have been convenient to him if he'd been right, but the fact that he's wrong doesn't matter to him, because this is not about producing healthy cities. This is about propping up a system that he's a beneficiary of as a host on Fox. None of it matters. This is all a game. The content is irrelevant.
Sure, and it's not actually, you had a tall ask, which was like find out why these cities are healthy, but all he had to do was give a corrected information. If you want to actually correct that graphic, then show the most unhealthy cities. Are they in Cancer Alley, as they say? Are they close to power plants? Are they close to all kinds of fossil fuel industries? They are. They truly are. So is our gas guzzling way of life killing us slowly? Yes, it is. Is a lack of access to healthcare killing us? Yes, it is. Show that. So it's not a real correction. It's just saying, oops, sorry, anyway, but actually show the cities that aren't healthy.
Yep. Yeah, and for those that are on the most unhealthy list, which we did on that show, a lot of them are, stereotypical red cities. Okay, so Dan Bongino, what policy changes would you like to see to fix that, to improve the quality of life of conservatives, to save their lives? What would you like to see done to change that? We already know the answer, nothing. He doesn't want anything done, nothing that's gonna cost any money at least.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.